will be the first of 2 times I introduce you, sir. How are you, Brett Favre?
I'm good, Rich.
Yeah?
Thank you.
You bet. How long have you had this beard? How long have you been rocking this beard, Brett? What's going on with this?
Too long. It's actually my daughter is 16. She plays volleyball, and she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I'm using it as a motivating tool
For?
her to jump higher. Until she touches the rim, I don't shave.
Really?
So it's as soon or
How close is she to the rim?
She's like seriously that close. I'm doing like this.
Yeah.
How are you jumping now? She's like, oh. So I mean, you do what you can to motivate them.
And Deanna, where does she stand on this whole subject?
She knows why I'm doing it,
Okay.
and she supports that. She doesn't necessarily like it, especially when food shows up in it, crumbs.
And can we get any shoes, any proper shoes? Maybe get a little more spring, a little bit more enhancement? Not yet?
Yeah, well, maybe
just try.
we may have to.
We may have to.
Yeah.
Brett Favre here on The Rich Eisen Show. Radio audience returns in a moment. Now that we got all the hard-hitting questions out of the way. Welcome back to The Rich Eisen Show. I could not think of a better guest than to kick off my Friday show here at Super Bowl 50 than this man who, this is the last day you, sir, Brett Favre, will ever not be a Hall of Famer from sunup to sundown. This is the last day of your life where you won't be an enshrined member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, an elected member of it, Brett Favre.
I haven't thought about that.
Well,
But you're kind of.
I'm the perspective guy. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I lend perspective whenever I can, Brett.
You have the inside
Thanks for coming
scoop.
on the show today. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is it. You're going in tomorrow. I mean, you're not allowed to say that, I understand, but it's going to happen tomorrow.
Well,
for you, Brett.
Either way, it's not a bad thing.
No, I know. It's an incredible thing. What are your thoughts about the enshrinement here for the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Sometimes, because it's been, as we were talking prior to coming on, it's been a busy year, or last eight months, I guess. And you almost kind of get inundated with all the stuff rather than just kind of like soaking it all in, like, this is really just an incredible honor. You get kind of, understandably so, you just kind of get caught up in all the hustle and bustle of it rather than what it really means.
Because you went into your college Hall of Fame, right? You go to the college Hall of Fame.
Yeah, in Mississippi Hall of Fame.
Right.
And we had the ceremony in July in Green Bay, which was just the Hall of Fame induction for Green Bay. And then later in November, we did the jersey retirement.
That was incredible with Bart Starr coming out. I mean, what was
Yeah.
that? What was that?
No, it
moment
was
like?
incredible. And I had said, and you probably remember this, previous year, I was actually going to a game in Green Bay. We were going to try to ease back into it. And Mark Murphy and I had talked about it. And I said, and I'll be honest with you, I wanted Bart to go with me because it's sort of like I need someone to hold my hand. I was a little bit nervous and fearful of what it would be like. So I knew if I had Bart, I was safe. And
when you went
the
just
previous
back
year, going back for a
Green-
game, we had talked about just going back and obviously people would know I was at the game, and maybe even at halftime would go out or a coin toss or something. I mean, it was real informal. And so I made the comment that I'll go if Bart goes. Bart's always been a hero of mine. I know him extremely well, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. And so what better guy to bring with you? Of course, his health was failing, and it didn't happen. So this year we made sure.
It was incredible, Brett.
It was incredible.
I mean, just because the weather wasn't really cooperating.
Which was, that's Green Bay.
I was about to say, so in a way, it was cooperating in that regard. But just to see him come back and how much it meant for him to be there on that night.
I would hope they would
with
do that for
you.
me someday. So if you think about it that way.
Sure. For somebody who would be.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's Bart's last time to
Yeah.
ever experience that. I'm extremely thankful that, if so, I had a hand in it.
Brett Favre here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, have you thought about who was going to present you in Canton next summer?
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, God.
No.
Why'd you let me sit there for a few seconds like that, Brett? I mean, you thought about, like, you're going to throw it out
you told
there?
me prior to coming on here.
Yeah.
Drama.
Yes,
Drama.
I did. Yeah.
You did. So,
well, you
drama.
So you know,
it's not rich.
So you know who it is right now. You know who it is. Does that person know who it is? Right
Sort
now?
of. Sort of.
Sort of. Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody's keeping a sort of secret right now about who's
Sort
going to
of, yeah.
present you? All right. Can I guess? Would you, if I went ahead and gave you 3 guesses, would you even go there?
I don't know
right now?
if my poker face is.
You don't have a poker face, do you? Do you have a poker face? Do you have one?
Not really.
Yeah, I was about to
No,
say, you
I'm not.
normally wear your emotions on your sleeve.
Right.
You
So
put it all out
I'm
there.
afraid if you start guessing, I may start crying.
Is it Mooch?
He wishes. He wishes. Did Mooch put you up? Where's Mooch?
No, Mooch. By the way, you'd have loved this. This week, Mooch sitting in the chair to your left. The chair you're sitting in was Kurt Warner. And Kurt giving Mooch grief for cutting him in 1994 and not calling him after cutting him. What's truly
What a
classic
jerk.
stuff. Truly classic stuff, Brett.
I didn't see the interview, but I'm sure Mooch talked about calling him Pop.
Well, no, Kurt brought all this stuff up. Brought up the fact that his nickname was Pop or Chachi.
Chachi was the other.
Chachi
sure.
was the other.
A lot of people don't know Chachi. I mean, our older generation.
Yes, they don't know Joni either. They wouldn't, or that she did love
Chachi
Chachi.
was good.
Yes, right. But why was Pop? What was the Pop?
Pop Warner.
Oh, I got.
So Mooch was like, Kurt obviously had a tremendous career. He came from arena ball, Iowa. No one knew who he was.
Right.
And he was just there like a week or so, and Mooch was like, "Hey, Pop, get in." And he was like, "No."
What do you mean no?
He wouldn't go in, like to run a scrimmage play.
Why not?
But in his defense,
right.
he just got there.
Okay.
I mean, you go from arena to Packers, and like within a few days, it's like go in. Mm-hmm. He didn't know the plays. He not good enough, I guess.
Right.
I don't blame him. I mean, I probably would have went in and ran the wrong way. Maybe so. It worked out for Curtin.
Oh my gosh, yeah. He may go in with you, Brett, which would be I think incredible.
It would be awesome.
That'd be half the quarterback room of 1994 from Green Bay going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
The thing about that is, if we both go in, we can honestly say we overcame our coaching.
Yes, no doubt about that.
Is Mooch here?
Oh, Mooch is.
That would devastate Mooch.
Mooch, if you're anywhere within 100 miles of Steve Mariucci,
he gets an alert.
He gets an alert on his phone, and then he starts crying. We love bringing you up to him all the time, just to bring him up, because he gets all vermeil misty. He really does. He really does. You babysat his kids, right?
I did.
How were you as a babysitter, Brett?
Well, they've turned into fine kids, I think.
Yes, they have. You helped raise them up fine.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little rough around the edges, but I'm really surprised that he and Gail said, Brett would be ideal to watch our kids. They'll be safe.
Did you get him to bed on time? Or did you really do that?
I tricked them with candy and ice cream.
No, that's no good.
No.
That's no good.
No.
I like it. And now you're a grandfather, correct?
I am. I had two grandsons.
Brett Favre.
One's 5, and one is a little over a year.
Oh.
And my son-in-law is from Manchester. Mm-hmm. Big soccer guy.
So he's from the UK?
He's from England, yeah. He came over on a soccer scholarship years ago, and our oldest daughter, Brittany, just graduated from law school in Loyola in New Orleans and has a good job, 2 boys. Alex is coaching high school, my son-in-law coaching high school soccer at a private school in Hattiesburg.
Unbelievable. I mean, if I had told you when you were starting out in Green Bay that you would be a Pro Football Hall of Famer with 2 grandchildren on the day that you're going? What would you have said, Brett? Would you have believed it?
No, I
mean,
wouldn't have believed it. You know, it would be, yeah, like, really? And I mean, if 20 years. I was one of those that thought I would play forever, but if you said you think you'll play 20 years, I probably would have been like, that may be a little too long.
Right.
Not from just, you know, the wear and tear. Though it's just hard. You know, yeah, physically, but to be good or good enough for that long.
Right.
So everything I ever dreamed of, hoped would happen, has come true, and then some.
Well, do you look back and wonder if maybe you should have just stopped after Green Bay, not gone to Minnesota or the Jets?
You know, I don't regret it. First of all, I know, you know, there's nothing I can do. So, and that's the same thing about playing and plays and, you know, coulda, woulda, shoulda. It is what it is, and at this point in my life and career, things are really good. Now, 2 years ago, there was still Green Bay looming, and how that would
Just like getting back together?
just kind of just where everything is, everyone's okay, you know, with how things played out. So, and at this point, everyone's okay.
And there was
it's good.
And there was a time where you were. I just found it so fascinating. I was so concerned. Like, I want Bart Starr there with me. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and I always, when I tell people, it's like, yeah, basically want him to hold my hand. I mean,
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. But Brett Favre is here on the Rich Eisen Show. There's a Legends of the Game event tonight from 6 to 9. You, Tiki Barber, Charles Woodson at the Pac-12 headquarters. That's tonight.
he was a good one, by the way.
Who, Charles?
Yeah, I hated playing against Charles. Loved playing with him.
Yes. Oh, that's right. You got to play with him.
Yeah, man, what a crafty player. I'd like to see him keep playing, man. He's still good.
Well, I guess so. But many people feel that about you, Brett. See you keep
They
playing.
still want me to play?
Yeah, well, you do realize that after tomorrow night, when you're enshrined, that is your last chance to announce a comeback.
Well,
you do realize
you know,
that,
I was going to
right?
ask you if, like, say Sunday, if I said, you know, I think I'm going to play another. You can't do that?
You can.
You can?
Will you do that on NFL game day morning? Will you make that announcement on NFL
Well,
Network?
I'll see how I feel Sunday morning.
That's right. Wake up. You know, it's a
Yeah.
Super Sunday. You might feel that itch again.
You know, as I get older, some days you get up and you go, wow, I feel good. Other days, for no reason, you get up and you go, I don't feel so good.
Yeah. Do you miss it at all, though? One day where you just wake up and like,
I really don't. You know, I miss the kind of the non-football stuff. You know, funny events and stuff.
Right.
But not like, if you know you see a big win,
Yeah.
and you go, yeah, that's good. But the other team,
Yes.
I don't miss being the other team or the other quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time before the bad hits.
Before it comes and gets you.
Yeah, so I don't miss that.
I got Brett Favre here at Favre4Official on Twitter. Also, Score Sports, which I know is near and dear to your heart. That's a company that you helped found, and sports social network takes you beyond stats, scores, and headlines. I'm on it. Mooch is on it.
Yeah.
Hasselbeck's on it. Steve Smith's on it. I'm trying to just off the top of my head who I see on my score timeline every day. You're on it. You got stars from all across the
Tim
sports
McGraw.
landscape. Tim McGraw's on it.
He's a big sports guy. You know, I'll tell you a quick story about
Sure.
Tim. I went, he had asked me to play in like a little charity flag football. This is years and years ago.
Yes.
So I go stay at his house, and this was a long time ago. Faith was cooking his breakfast. Tim and I quit drinking in '98, so that tells you a lot. We had had a few beers the night before, and I thought I could sing. I'd had a few beers and sang and thought I sounded good. He thought he could play football. But I was there to play in a little flag football thing. And so the next day I got up and I kind of had my head was hurting. Faith cooked us some breakfast and I said, Tim, I think I'm gonna go home. So I just don't feel up to it. And he's like, all right, whatever. He says, I'm going to play in it. Well, he blows his knee out. ACL.
The whole bit.
The whole thing. And I don't know if it was a couple of beers,
Yeah.
Faith's breakfast, but I was like, That could have been me. It could have been me.
Wow. What song did you sing? Do you remember that? What song? What's your go-to karaoke song, Brett? Do you have one? Mine is
I don't know what I sang, but
mine is Sinatra, by the way.
Sinatra.
Oh yeah, I can do it.
Are you like a shower guy or
No.
car? You're in the car.
I'm a shower guy every day, as you know.
Oh yeah.
I'm a car guy. Yeah, anywhere though, I'll do it.
So like someone drives past you and you're over there just.
Yeah, windows up though. Windows up.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah, I'm a member of society.
Smart.
At Far4 Official. Score Sports is something we'll talk a little bit more about. I'd like to take a couple phone calls from our fans, if that's okay.
Sure.
Let's take a break in 60 ticks of the clock. 844-204-RICH if you want to chat with number 4 right here. Again, on the last day that he is not a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Back here on the Rich Eisen Show with Marshall Faulk right behind. Just a minute. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show at Far4 Official. Brett Favre is here. Score.com, SQOR.com is how you can join the social network party that Brett Favre has started. Also, Rob Gronkowski, Richard Sherman, Odell Beckham is on Score. Odell,
Guy can catch.
He can. Now he's a one-handed grabber.
Yeah, it made it pretty impressive.
Before we go to the phone lines, pound the Hall of Fame table for Sterling Sharp. What do you got for me?
Sterling, thank goodness Sterling was there when I went. It's a long time ago. He caught 105 or so. The next year he broke his own record with 112 or 118 catches. That guy was the smartest football player I've ever played with and could never practice. He had turf toe. He had a neck, which eventually forced him into retirement. He was just a stud without ever practicing. He caught 10 to 15 balls a game in double coverage. Couldn't run a whole lot because he had the turf toe, but just an incredible force. And had it not been for the neck, who knows how many he would have caught.
Yeah, throw 284.
Love that guy.
That's the guy. Let's go to the phone lines right now. John in Appleton, Wisconsin. You are on with Brett Favre here on the Rich Eisen Show. John?
Hey, Brett.
Hi.
I want to let you know that very early in your career, I told people that if I could live as long as you played, I could die a happy man. And I'm only 5 years older than you, so quite a fan. My question is kind of a follow-up to what Rich just asked about Sterling Sharp. You never really had weapons like some of the other top quarterbacks of your era did. But prior to your last season, the Packers had the opportunity to get Randy Moss. And the rumor was that you were pushing for it. How hard did you push? What were you told? And how much fun would it have been to play with Randy? That year he caught 23 touchdowns from Tom Brady.
John, thanks for the call. Brett?
Well, I had a chance to play with Randy in Minnesota. And Randy was, like myself, was at the tail end of his career. But I felt like with Randy, if Randy wanted to play, he was still Randy. And he had some flashes of that year. But yeah, I did push hard for him my last few years in Green Bay. I can't remember exactly what year it was. I just felt like he was worth a shot because of just, and of course, he went and just lit it up in New England and was unstoppable, much like he had been earlier in his career. And I just, he would be if he's not double covered, he's going to catch a touchdown. And you just had to throw it somewhere close to him. And that was, to me, it was just worth a shot. So I pushed pretty hard. Obviously, it didn't work out, but it worked out great for Tom Brady.
Yes, it did. 50 touchdowns he had that year.
Yeah, and Tom, sure helps to have Tom throwing it, but it sure helps to have Randy Moss, who's determined on the other side.
Before we take one more phone call, the news about Johnny Manziel is dark, to say the least. And I know you just mentioned a few minutes ago that you stopped drinking in 1998. How do you reach somebody when it's tough to reach them?
Obviously, I'm no expert. I speak from experience, and I hope for Johnny's sake that things work out for him. And I'm not just talking about from a football standpoint, just from a life. At some point you shift gears from will he play or play at a high level to what kind of life is he going to have. Ultimately, it comes down to the person themselves. you may want to help Johnny, I may want to help Johnny, and a lot of people want to help Johnny, but does Johnny want to help Johnny? And that's really because we can't do anything. No one can make anyone do anything.
Were there times when Brett didn't want to help Brett?
Absolutely, absolutely. I went through a lot. Pain pills was my big addiction, and I had 2 seizures. This was during the season. A lot of things that people had no clue. I was taking 15 Vicodin and ES a day, and this was when I'd won 3 MVPs during that process. I don't say that braggingly. I vaguely remember those times. And drinking, I thought, well, I got that in check. And I didn't. So it finally came down to a point where I knew that I was in trouble and had to clean myself up. And that's ultimately what it's going to take with Johnny or anyone else in that situation.
Jeff, in Madison, Wisconsin, you're on with Brett Favre here on the Rich Eisen Show. We got a lot of Wisconsin people, by the way, Brett. We're calling in today.
Good.
Hey, let me start by saying congratulations on this most recent achievement. One
Thank you.
of many. Yeah, well deserved. I know you're all team guys in that league, but you deserve these individual accolades as much as anybody in that hall. Second, before I get to a quick question, is having lived through many seasons in the 70s, in Lambeau Field, 80s, and even into, with all due respect to Don Mikowski, the early 90s, let me thank you from Packer Nation for putting the franchise, the team, the state back on the map, back where it rightfully belonged and belongs to this day. We can't possibly say thank you enough for that. And through all those years with you at the helm, so many memories, too numerous to name. But I'd love to hear, I won't hold you to one, but I'd love to hear a couple of your fondest memories playing in Lambeau Field during or even postseason. That'd be wonderful to kind of hear what still resonates with you.
There you go. Thanks, Jeff. What about that, Brett?
It's
a big macro question, but what do you got for me on the memories?
I'd have to say the first game I ever played in against Cincinnati that I came in, obviously didn't start, but that started it all, would be...
Is that the one where you completed a pass to yourself? Is that one?
No, that was in Tampa.
Okay.
That was awesome, by the way. I lost 11 yards or something, but I thought I was going to score. That's the greatest trivia. I know we're getting off. That's the greatest. I mean, it's not going to be anymore, but greatest trivia question. And I got Hasselback with it. I said, you know who I completed my first pass to? And he's like, he's
Hasselback.
This is his cup of tea. He's like, I think that might have been Sterling, or that was. He's named all these people. I said, me. He's like, yeah, that's impossible. Well, I thought so too. I just remember coming to the sidelines, and we were getting hammered by Tampa Bay, and Holmgren throws me in the first play. It gets tipped, and I catch it, and I look, and I see end zone. It was like 60 yards away, and there was a sea of orange. And I go that way, and I lose like 11 yards. But I made a few guys miss.
Good for you.
So Holmgren,
look at you.
He's waiting for me because it was going from bad to worse. And he says, what are you doing? I said, Mike, I really thought I could score. And he's like, oh, my God. I mean, he realized that there's nothing he could say.
And that's how the Holmgren Favre era began. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the whole way back. I said, I caught my first pass. This is awesome. I wasn't thinking this could end my career.
But what about Jeff before we have to let you go?
I think of the first game. I think of the Carolina championship game. It had been, I don't know how many years since the championship game was played in Green Bay. I think of a Monday night game, or it may have been a Sunday night game, that Antonio Freeman in overtime made an incredible catch that everyone had given up on, and we won that ball game. The list goes on, but there was never a time that it's like I tell people, throwing a touchdown pass in Lambeau Field never got old. It never got old, and I threw a lot. But the first one and the last one meant just as much. I was just a little grayer. But just, what a life in career to be able to play in Lambeau Field, and I don't know how many games, I don't know how many touchdowns, but it was just a wonderful experience.
Brett, thank you for spending this first hour on the Friday show here for
Thanks
Super
for
Bowl
having
50. Oh, please, anytime. You know that. You are well deserving of all the accolades that you have received, and the greatest one that you're going to get tomorrow night. I look forward to that, Brett.
Thanks, Rich.
You bet. Score.com, SQOR.com. I'm on it. Mooch is on it. Gronk's on it. Odell Beckham's on it. You should be on it. Favre's on it. We are back with more here on The Rich Eisen Show. Marshall Falk, Adriana Lima, and Ryan Reynolds, Hour 2. J.J. Watt, Snoop Dogg, Hour 3. And you at 844-204-RICH.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.